Hi, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Serena Hodge, and I am the Assistant Director of Pre-Law Advising and Pre-Graduate Education Advising within University Career Services. This workshop today is called Stressbusters, Alleviating Stress During the Grad School Application Process. So I'm just going to spend about 15 to 20 minutes just going through an outline of applying to graduate programs, some techniques for interviewing for admission interviews, some resources to assist you, as well as appointment types to help you that are within Handshake as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so like I mentioned, this workshop is called Stressbusters, Alleviating Stress During the Grad School Application Process. Again, my name is Serena Hodge. So going through the learning outcomes, after this brief workshop, students should be able to design a step-by-step outline for applying to graduate school. Students will be able to identify one action to take once an application is submitted, and then students will be able to practice a stress relieving activity and recognize a coping mechanism for future stress. So these are some recommendations for early in your pre-grad journey. It is recommended to join a student organization that you're interested in. So I've included the link here for Heal Life so you can look at various student organizations. This will just allow you to network with other students who share similar interests and who also might be going through the same process for graduate school as well. You'll want to familiarize yourself with the Handshake platform, which I've included the link there. With this platform, you can explore volunteer, fellowship, internship, part-time, and or full-time employment opportunities. If you ever have any questions about utilizing Handshake, you can also schedule an appointment with one of us in career services. We have both pre-grad advising or career coaching appointments in Handshake. And I do want to note that alumni have access for 6 months after graduation to make appointments in Handshake. If you are interested in research opportunities, then you can look at the Office for Undergraduate Research website. That is a resource for you. Maybe if there aren't any opportunities that you're interested in, you can also reach out to someone who works within that office just to see if they have any other research opportunities available or links to send you to look at other research opportunities. You'll want to start building professional relationships with academic professors so that you have those relationships already set when you're asking for letters of recommendation. So what that looks like is visiting your professor's office hours. If you can't make their office hours due to a scheduling conflict, maybe just emailing them and see if they're willing to meet with you for like 15 to 20 minutes over Zoom. Professors are a great resource as well. You can ask them about their educational background, maybe about any research opportunities they know of, ask more about their field, especially if you're interested in academia. And yeah, so those are just some tips as far as building professional relationships with academic professors. Really depends on the program you're applying to. Some programs may ask for 2 letters, some may ask for 3 letters of recommendation. So these are some next steps, and this is for if you're applying to graduate programs for directly after undergrad. So these are master's level or PhD programs, not in the health professions field. So really anything like MBA programs or PhD in public policy or STEM related fields, humanities, social sciences. So these are some suggested steps for those programs, suggested steps for those programs. If you are interested in health professions programs, I highly recommend visiting the hpa.unc.edu website. So this timeline is for, like I mentioned, if you want to apply to grad school for directly after undergrad. And in this presentation, I will mention some gap year opportunities and just re-emphasize that taking a gap year or a few gap years is completely normal. So these are some next steps for you if you are set to apply to grad school for directly after undergrad. So your junior year, fall semester, this is when you want to research graduate programs, attend grad school fairs and information sessions. University Career Services does participate in a consortium that hosts a graduate professional school info fair every fall. It was actually this past week on November 2nd. And with that, it wasn't just graduate professional schools, they also included law schools. So I believe over like 110 schools attended that. So that's a great opportunity for you to attend and just gather more information about a program and see if that's a program that you are interested in applying to. You want to figure out if the programs you're interested in require an entrance exam like the GRE or GMAT. You can take a practice test. So on one of the slides, I do have some free practice test links, and create a study strategy or plan to start preparing for the exam in the spring. So junior year spring semester, prepare for the GRE or GMAT if it is required for the programs you're interested in. Continue to attend those information sessions and or reach out to admission staff or individuals who oversee the graduate program if you can't find certain information on their website. So some of the things you might be looking for are types of jobs that recent graduates have obtained, average salary of graduates from that program, and what kind of career services are offered. So it's highly important for you to do this research just to make sure that you're applying to the programs that are the best fit for you and that also align with your career goals. So the summer between junior and senior year is when you would take that GRE or GMAT if it's required by the program you're interested in. So that score is good for 5 years, just in case you decide that you don't want to apply for directly after undergrad. You'll want to spend the summer creating your list of programs that you plan to apply to in the fall. So you'll want to note the program name, the school, date application opens and closes. And then it's highly important to also look to see if there's an earlier deadline for funding consideration. So sometimes they might have that early scholarship deadline. And then you can just keep note of all of the application requirements. So you can do this on Excel or any other software that you like using just to stay organized. You'll want to update your resume or CV just to make sure it has all of your current experiences on there and past experiences. And then senior year fall semester, you'll start to work on your application forms. You'll want to contact your references early, such as August, September timeframe, just to make sure that they can write you a letter of recommendation that fall and that it would be a strong letter of recommendation. You may need to schedule a 20-minute Zoom call with them or go to their office hours to talk more about the programs you're interested in and your future career aspirations. You might often find that you are sharing your resume with them as well. Make sure to ask for the letter of recommendation at least 4 to 6 weeks in advance of your application due date. This will give the recommender enough time to write you a thorough letter of recommendation. You'll want to order your transcripts to be sent to the graduate programs you're applying to. Keep in mind that you might also have to send in transcripts from any transfer institutions as well. Finalize your resume or CV, and then craft your personal statement of purpose. So you'll want to look at the application to see, like, is there a page length requirement, a font size requirement? Do they have a specific prompt you want to follow or they want you to follow as well? And then complete and submit all components of your applications prior to the deadline. It's very, very important to keep track of deadlines so that you don't miss out on any of those. So the final steps after you've applied, you can ask the admissions coordinator via email if they can connect you with current students or alumni. And when speaking with these students, be sure to ask about their experiences in the program. Has the program been rewarding? Have there been any challenges in the program? Have they had any mentorship in the program, etc.? This information can assist you in making your final decision. Of course, if you're still in your junior year in the research process for programs, you can still do this ahead of time. But you just want to make sure to try to connect with current students or alumni, and whoever oversees that program or the admissions coordinator should be able to assist you in providing contact information for a student that you can reach out to. Getting the student perspective is very valuable. You'll want to visit prospective campuses if possible, sit in on classes, get a campus tour, look into housing and transportation options, etc. I put here like a cost of living calculator. There's lots of those you can find on Google. It's just helpful to know, especially if you've never visited that city before that the graduate school is in, just to see what the cost of living is there compared to the city that you currently live in, so that you can be prepared ahead of time for how much things cost. After receiving your acceptance from your best fitting option, send in the required deposit. Make sure to contact other schools to decline any additional acceptances. So just making sure that communication is there. And then also send thank you emails to the people that helped you. This can be your references, your advisor, any mentors you had throughout the process. Just sending a quick thank you email, that definitely goes a long way. So if you need to take the GRE or GMAT for the programs you're applying to, take a practice test first, or taking a practice test first is helpful to familiarize yourself with the exam and determine how much prep you will need. So I have here free GRE prep materials from the ETS website, Educational Testing Services. There's a practice test from Manhattan Prep, a practice test from Princeton Review. If you just go on the MBA website, there is a free GMAT starter kit and practice exams. And then Princeton Review also has a free GMAT. So you definitely want to note free GMAT test, practice test. You definitely want to note as you're researching schools if they are requiring the GRE or GMAT. There are more programs that are starting to waive the GRE requirement. So just making sure to keep a lookout on that to see if you truly need to take the exam is important. Researching financial aid options. So if it's not clearly stated on the graduate program's website, you can email the admissions coordinator or the individual who oversees the program to ask if there are any financial aid opportunities, such as assistantships, fellowships, and scholarships. I'm going to go through a couple of these financial aid resources with you so you can see what they look like. But I do have Career One Stop that's highlighted on here. That's a scholarship database. Guide to financial aid for graduate school types of financial aid, how financial aid works, and then funding information from the UNC Graduate School as well. So let's look at a couple of these together. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. So let's go to the first one that's listed, the Career One Stop. So this is basically a scholarship directory, and you are able to indicate on the left-hand side graduate degree scholarship opportunities. There will be scholarships, fellowships, grants, prizes, public grants, loans. You can indicate like where you're going to study if you are a member of any of these affiliations, and then there's also gender specific. So you can use those filters to kind of narrow down, but it'll tell you like level of study, if it's a scholarship or grant. So this is a helpful tool if you need to look for those external scholarship or fellowship opportunities. Another website that I really like is Student Loan Hero. So this is the complete guide to financial aid for grad school. It's going to go over like how to get financial aid for grad school, what is a fellowship, how to search for scholarships, which Career One Stop is mentioned along with some others. Tuition reimbursement, so asking your current place of employment if they offer that incentive or that benefit. Nonprofits, finding work study opportunities. They go over what assistantships are, out-of-state school aid, fill the gap with federal loans, and then they're talking about private student loans. So that's a very helpful kind of overview of your different options of financial aid. And then studentaid.gov, they also go over types of financial aid. They have a YouTube video you can find here with more information as well. So both of those websites are pretty helpful. And then they go over like what the FAFSA form looks like. Yeah, so I would definitely research these resources to kind of find out what your opportunities are for financial aid, and scholarships, fellowships as well. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Mhm. Okay, so preparing for an admissions interview. Many PhD and some master's level programs require an interview for applicants they are considering for admission. Before your interview, look closely at the website for the schools and departments you're applying to. Show that you've done your homework on the program's faculty research and be able to talk about specific faculty whose work interests you. So this applies more for the PhD programs. Um, for all programs, though, you definitely want to see if the school or that graduate program has a mission statement, has a vision statement, look at the curriculum, look and see like what kind of experiential learning opportunities there are. So definitely doing that preparation work before your interview is very helpful. You want to be prepared to talk about how your educational and professional background has prepared you for graduate study, why this particular program would be a good fit for you, and then also be able to talk about your research interests for PhD programs. Be prepared to ask questions about the department or graduate program's culture, any funding opportunities, the program's teaching or research requirements for PhD programs, resources for professional development, experiential learning, and career services. So our career services offered within that program. And then the environment of support for graduate students, both in the department and in the university. So what kind of resources for support for graduate students do they have for student well-being? You always want to be prepared with at least, I would say, 3 questions. Maybe there won't be time for all 3 questions, but it's nice to have questions prepared rather than have, no questions prepared. Um, we do have a very helpful resource called Big Interview, and they do have graduate school mock interview resources here. So you can chat with Judy or Andy to do a graduate school interview. This resource is very nice because you're able to play back your responses, see how your nonverbals are you being clear and concise in your responses with the interview. We also have 45-minute mock interview appointments within University Career Services, but Big Interview is a helpful resource in addition to that. So gap year ideas before grad school. If you do not want to go to graduate school directly after undergrad, that is completely okay. I think I mentioned in another slide that a lot of admission committees definitely value that work experience. These are just some ideas. You can volunteer with a service organization such as Teach for America, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, American Red Cross, Habitat for Humanity, United Way. There is a website called serviceyear.org. It's a resource to find service opportunities. We also have a resource on our resources page called Going Global, and this is a free resource for students to find employment abroad. So if you are looking to move out of the country, that could be a good resource just to check out. Enhance your professional development and expand your network. This will allow you to just make sure like whatever graduate program you're interested in is the right fit for you. You can talk to people within different fields and do informational interviews just to kind of see what their educational background is and how that graduate program prepared them for the role that they're currently in. Obtain a full-time career. I listed some of the job search tools you can use there. Secure an internship, post-baccalaureate program is another option. And then you can also prepare your graduate school application while taking time away from academia. So obtaining your letters of recommendation, working on your personal statement, and possibly studying for and taking the GRE or GMAT. So if the rest of your time here at UNC looks a little busy and it's kind of hard to focus on the graduate school application. If you are deciding to take a gap year, multiple gap years, you can definitely focus on your app materials after graduation. As I mentioned earlier in this presentation, you do have access to Handshake for 6 months post-graduation. This is a graduate school planning guide I created that's a fillable document for students to indicate like their interests, passions, career goals, check off like if they have these application components, list graduate programs they want to research, people who they'd contact for additional information, resources, how they pay for graduate study, and then next steps. If you would like this graduate school planning guide, it's a PDF. You can just email me at serena.hodge@unc.edu. Alleviating stress. So you want to think of the pre-grad journey as steps instead of a whole bunch of things you have to do at one time. Make a to-do list each semester in regards to steps to prepare for that graduate school application and cross off when you accomplish each task. Take a break away from education after undergrad if needed. Most admission committees value that work experience. And then here are some stress relieving techniques, and the sources I utilize are just at the bottom left. So maintain self-care, taking care of your body, both your physical health and your nutritional health as well. Exercise with a healthy diet. This helps improve your mood. Prioritize sleep. So it is suggested that young adults get at least 7 hours of sleep to recharge their bodies and brain. Take a break from news and social media. Try to go outdoors for at least an hour every day. I know that's dependent on weather, but this will allow you to get fresh air and improve your mental well-being. I really like this idea of a gratitude journal. So just taking a few minutes each day to write down what you're thankful for. This can help break the negative chatter in your mind and pull yourself back into the present moment. And then implement a daily meditation practice. So I did have a link here with like free apps, podcasts, and YouTube videos, just talking about meditation and relaxation techniques. So yeah, these are just some of the techniques that are suggested, but definitely if there's something else that works for you and that's been working for you, utilize that during your graduate school application process. And going back to the previous slide, just knowing that it is steps and you don't need to do everything at once. And if you do need to take time off of undergrad to explore a gap year opportunity, that is completely okay as well. Okay, so Handshake. I mentioned that a lot in this presentation. And not only can you search for employment opportunities on their fellowship, internship opportunities, any events that are happening as well, like that grad school fair I mentioned earlier. You can also make an in-person or virtual distance appointment with University Career Services. So these are appointment types we have available: career coaching, resume or cover letter coaching, CV, resume, cover letter coaching for graduate students. What can I do with this major coaching, pre-law or pre-grad school exploration or application support, LinkedIn profile coaching, and mock interviews. So like I mentioned previously, if you are an alumni, you do have access for 6 months after graduation. With the app support appointments for pre-grad or pre-law, we will assist you in just reviewing your statement of purpose or personal statement and giving feedback, as well as like your CV or resume for your graduate program. So we are here to help alleviate your stress as well. So that is the end of my presentation for alleviating stress during the grad school application process. Feel free to utilize Handshake and make an appointment with University Career Services in the future. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.